We have here a series of LED diodes. We connect them organizedly on the digital pins of an Arduino-compatible UNO R3 board, from pin 2 to pin 13. We connect the board to our computer, using a USB cable, and imagine that we want to program the board to perform this effect, known in English as LED chaser, corresponding to an LED sweep in both directions. We create a program in the code editor. We compile the code successfully. It does not produce any errors. And then we upload the program to the UNO board. However, the code does not work as you expect. The last LED in the row does not light up, that is, the code has a functional error. It is not doing what you have planned. If you are an experienced programmer, and this being a simple example code, you could surely detect the error and correct it in a few seconds, but in real practice, we rely on a tool known as Debugger, used to identify and correct these functional errors, which, in an extensive code, and with many variables and updates, can be difficult to detect. If we open our Arduino development environment, the Arduino IDE, starting with version 2.0 of this software, we can find in the vertical sidebar an option to do debug, or code debugging, where we find the necessary components for monitoring the debugging carried out, where we can add configurations for our debugging session, with different options to choose from according to the tools available to perform this debug. If we enter the search engine, Debugger for Arduino IDE, and enter the documentation link for this tool, we find the guide to use the debugger in the Arduino IDE software version 2.0, where it tells us that this tool allows us to navigate through the execution of the code, relying on hardware tools to achieve this. Below illustrates the list of boards that are compatible with this debugger. Basically, the MKR boards, the Nano 33 IoT board, and the Arduino Zero board. And below it illustrates the hardware configurations necessary to debug code on these mentioned boards, where it tells us that no additional hardware is needed to debug an Arduino Zero board. He tells us a first tool called JLink, as a hardware debugging tool for MKR boards. And it shows us a second hardware tool called Atmel ICE, a programming and debugging device for microcontrollers with AVR and SAM architectures. So we can already deduce that this debugger included in the Arduino IDE from version 2.0 onwards, works to debug specific families of Arduino boards, and that it requires additional adaptation hardware to adapt between the computer and the development board, on which you want to debug the code. But what happens if I don't have any of these adaptation hardware mentioned? Could we debug code on a classic board like the Arduino UNO R3? Or on an advanced board like the Arduino MEGA2560? Well, the answer is yes. To create the code that is running on this Arduino UNO R3 board, and of course to debug it, we are going to open our optimized code editor, Visual Studio Code. And once opened, we open our PlatformIO tool, in the left vertical column. If you do not know the two programs that I have mentioned, you can enter the link illustrated in the corner of the screen, or located in the description of this video, to configure this development environment from scratch, based on the PlatformIO tool, extended in Visual Studio Code, as an integrated development environment to program microcontrollers. In the lower control bar, we find the PlatformIO home icon. We click on it, and the tool control panel is displayed. And in the Quick Access options, we open a new project. This wizard window is displayed. In the name field, we place the name of our preference for this project. In the list of board options, we type Arduino UNO as the board we have available, and we select it. In the framework option, we select the only one available for Arduino. We can leave the location of the folder at its default option, which is usually inside the Documents folder on a Windows system. And then we click Finish. We wait a couple of minutes for all the dependencies of the new project to be created. The new project will appear in the Explorer option with all its dependencies or folders. And a file with the name PlatformIO.ini will automatically open, which is located within the main folder of the project, and we can open it whenever we need it. Then we go to the src folder, or source. And we open the main.cpp file, the main code file in C++ language, where we will write our program. In this we can delete the reference instructions that come initially, leaving the inclusion of the Arduino.h library, since it is necessary for programming, and leaving of course the initial methods void setup and void loop, necessary in a framework for Arduino. Let's start the code inside the void setup method. Placing a cyclic for control structure, where we place pins 2 to 13 as digital outputs, since they are the pins to which we have connected the 6 LED diodes. Let's place another for structure, to place the cathodes or negative pins of the LEDs, in a low logic state, as a common or ground reference for each one, since their cathodes are connected to the even pins of the UNO board, from the pin 2 to 12. Then inside the void loop method, let's place a for structure, which allows us to turn on a specific LED, placing its anode or positive terminal in a logical high state, for a certain period that I will store in a variable I will call time ms, in an ascending direction, and considering that the anodes of these 6 LEDs are connected to the odd pins of the UNO board, from 3 to 13. Then we place another cyclic for structure, which allows us to do what was previously described, but in a descending direction. And finally, in the scope of the editor, we declare the time ms variable, which we use below, assigning the time in milliseconds, which represents how long it takes for a LED to be on, before jumping to the next one. In the top quick access bar, we select Compile, to verify the code and rule out any syntax errors. In the build results in the Terminal tab of Visual Studio Code, we verify that this build was successful. So, in the upper quick access bar, we click on the Upload option, and we can verify in the terminal tray that the upload has been successful. So at this moment we can already see the LED sweep effect on the UNO board. However, if we place it in slow motion, we can see that the last LED in the row, which has its anode or positive terminal connected to the pin 13 of the UNO board, it is not turning on. To debug this code, we are going to open the internet search engine of our choice, and in it we look for the magic word AVR-STUB. When obtaining the search results, we click on the PlatformIO documentation link. And the PlatformIO guide documentation is displayed, for this keyword, where it tells us that AVR-STUB corresponds to a code-level debugger, which works with the MEGA2560 microcontrollers, such as the one located on the Arduino UNO R3 board, and with MEGA microcontrollers, such as the MEGA2560 located on the Arduino MEGA board, without the need to use external hardware or programmer as an intermediary between the computer and the UNO R3 board in this case. So through the GDB-STUB mechanism, it allows debugging through the conventional serial interface that we use to connect the Arduino board to the computer. Then let's move to the configuration section, where it tells us that in the PlatformIO.ini file, we must place these two configuration lines, which clearly correspond to the debugging tool that is going to be used, and to the logical COM port of the computer through which this debugging will be carried out. So I will copy these two lines of configuration here. And returning to the Visual Studio Code interface. And in the Explorer option, I will open the PlatformIO.ini file. And I will paste the two configuration lines here, where I can see that the second line asks me for a serial port. To know this, we can go to the lower control bar, to the option configured as auto or automatic. And if I click on it, a window appears in which I can see that my UNO R3 board compatible with Arduino is connected to the COM6 port. So we put COM6 in this configuration line. Continuing in the configuration of PlatformIO for AVR-STUB, I can see that in addition to the two configuration lines in the PlatformIO.ini file, there is a line corresponding to the inclusion of a dependency with the name j-dolinui, and where it tells us that this corresponds to a library that implements the GDB-STUB. Knowing that this corresponds to a library, we return to the interface of our Visual Studio Code, and open the Home tab, either with the little house icon in the lower control bar, or by entering the Home tab in case already opened previously. And we enter the Library option, where we will search for AVR Debugger. In the search results we find Jan Dolinui's library. And on the right side we can verify compatibility with the Arduino framework. So we click on it. And then we click on Add to Project. We select the project we are working on, which I named LED Sweep for Arduino in this case. And we click on Add. Once the installation is complete, the PlatformIO configuration file is automatically deployed. illustrating that the indicated library has already been included according to the AVR-STUB configuration in PlatformIO. Further down in the settings for the code or program, we can see two file inclusion lines, along with the Arduino.h file. So I'll copy these two lines from here. I'll go back to my Visual Studio Code. I'll open my main code, and after the Arduino.h library, I'll paste these two lines here. Lastly, in my documentation under Review, I will copy this debug startup line from here. And I will paste it at the beginning of the setup method in my main code in Visual Studio Code. Then I go to the top Quick Access and click on Build. We verify that the compilation runs successfully. From this moment we are ready to start a debugging session of our code, for which we open the Visual Studio Code debugger icon, and we find the vertical window with the debugging tracking components, among which we find an important component called breakpoint, which is currently empty. To set a breakpoint, we place the mouse pointer on the left side of a specific line of code, say in this case on line of code number 25, and click on it, setting the breakpoint in this place, being represented by a red dot. To remove this breakpoint you simply have to click on the red dot again. And now we can see in the components column the breakpoint that we established, and the line of code in which we did it. In the watch component, we will place the variable or variables that we want to keep track of during debugging. In this particular case, we identify in our code a variable called pin, an important variable that evidently controls the digital pin of the UNO board, which must be turned on or off at a certain time. From this moment on, with at least one breakpoint set in the code, and with the main pin tracking variable, we can start the debugging session with this icon, which will take a few seconds to start while it compiles the code, and starts the dependencies corresponding to the debugger. Once the debugging session starts, the code will begin its execution on the UNO R3 board, and will highlight in yellow the line of code where it is currently being executed. In this case it is close to executing line number 25 of the code, where we established our only breakpoint. That's right, just as you're thinking. The execution of our code is suspended in time at this moment, exactly on line 25 of code, waiting for the next iteration to execute this line. Iteration that is no longer controlled by the fast machine cycle of the microcontroller located on the board, and set by the fast oscillation speed of the 16 MHz crystal soldered on the board, and with which we would see the code executing at its normal speed representing the LEDs in this way. But, now, this iteration is controlled by ourselves, and through the debug control panel that has just been deployed in the Visual Studio Code, which is why we do not see any execution action of our code on the UNO board through of the LEDs, since it is evidently waiting for our next order to continue execution from line 25 or the only established breakpoint. In the debug control panel, we find 6 control options. A first control option called Continue, which is also activated with the F5 key. Note that the value of the pin variable is 3, this is the variable corresponding to the iteration variable of the for loop. If we click on this option, we will see that the pin variable now has a value of 5, indicating that executed a cycle of the for structure, and the execution indicator was placed again at the breakpoint or line 25. It did so at its normal execution speed, which is why we probably did not see the second LED light up for 100 milliseconds. Delay that we have configured it to then turn off again. A second control option called Step Over or F10, which if we select it we will see the code execute line by line, jumping from one line to the other every time we click on this option or press F10. And of course seeing the progress of the LEDs being turned on and off according to the iteration speed that we generate with each click. And observing the advance of the pin variable that must be increased in steps of 2 through odd numbers. If we stop at the delay method. For us, in this high-level language like C++, this method is a simple instruction. However, at a lower level we understand that it is a series of cyclic subroutines that manage the microcontroller's timers, in order to generate a waiting time of 100 milliseconds in this case. Therefore, there is a following control option, called Step Into or F11, which, if we select it, we enter the internal structures or subroutines of the delay method. And from here we can continue with the Step Over option, to jump from one line of code to another, but within the code routines that make up the delay method. So, if we want to exit these internal code routines, we can use the Step Out or Shift F11 control option. By clicking on it, we will exit the execution of the delay method, returning to our main code or root code. With the control option, Restart, we will start the debugging session again, stopping the execution of the code, again at the breakpoint. And the Stop control option, with which we will finish the debugging session, taking control of the execution of the code away from us, and giving it back to the microcontroller, so the code will continue executing on the board at the normal execution speed. Finally, I will run a new debug session, and with the Step Over control option, I will execute the code step by step continuously, observing particularly the value assigned for the pin variable, and the visual indicators or LEDs on the UNO R3 board, where I can realize that the pin variable does not at any time take a value corresponding to 13, a value that represents the pin number in which the anode or positive terminal of the LED is located, so this last LED never receives the logical on signal, and for this reason it does not turn on at any time in the LED sequence or LED chaser. Having identified this, I can understand that the iteration variable called pin within the condition of the for structure never reaches the value of 13, which allows me to functionally correct the code by adding an equal to the logical comparison operator here, loading the final and corrected code to the Arduino compatible UNO R3 board. Dear friends, a special greeting from Electronic Spot. I hope you enjoyed the video, and see you in the next one. Bye.